Passion, I Wish I Could Forget You. The plot of Passion concerns a young soldier and the changes in him brought about by the obsessive love of Fosca, his colonel's homely ailing cousin. At the end of Act 1, Giorgio enters Fosca's chamber and she implores him to lie beside her while she sleeps. At daybreak, Fosca asks him for a favor when he leaves. She asks him to write a letter for her. He agrees, but the letter she imagines is a fantasy one from Giorgio to herself, which Giorgio tells Fosca that, I wish I could forget you. This is where the song comes into the play. Fosca is imagining that Giorgio really does love her, when it is very apparent in real life that he does not. For now I'm seeing love like none I've ever known, a love as pure as breath, as permanent as death, a love I may regret, but one I can't forget. This is her wish, that he would feel this way about her, which is why she needs these letters to give her peace of mind about him. Though I believe this line is actually very true to what is going on between them. Giorgio, so haunted by Fosca, her feelings towards him are almost too much for him to handle. The letter says, I don't know why I let you so far inside my mind, but there you are and there you will stay. How could I ever wish you away? This song has so much relevance in Sondheim's works, as this show is one of his more recent and a very powerful one. This song, in my opinion, is the star of the show. It is able to capture Fosca's emotion in this very tender scene beautifully.
I wish I could forget you, erase you from my mind. But ever since I met you, I find I cannot leave the thought of you behind. That doesn't mean I love you. I wish that I could love you. I know that I've upset you. I know I've been unkind. I wanted you to vanish from sight, but now I see you in a different light. And though I cannot love you, I wish that I could love you. For now I'm seeing love like none I've ever known. A love as pure as breath, as permanent as death, implacable as stone. A love that like a knife has cut into a life that wanted left alone. A love I may regret, but one I can't forget. I don't know how I let you so far inside my mind, but there you are and there you will stay. How could I ever wish you away? I see now I was blind. And should you die tomorrow, another thing I see, your love will live in me. I remain your Giorgio.
Into the Woods, Moments in the Woods. The musical intertwines the plots of several Brothers Grimm and Charles Perrault fairy tales, exploring the consequences of the characters' wishes and quests. The musical is tied together by a story involving a childless baker and his wife, and their quest to begin a family, their interaction with a witch who's placed a curse on them, and their interaction with other storybook characters during their journey. In the latter part of Act 2, the baker's wife in the woods meets Cinderella's prince. The two have an interesting encounter with each other. After the baker's wife, with a few platitudes, she realizes her error and decides to return to her happy life with the baker and their son, which is where the song Moments in the Woods comes into place, where the baker's wife realizes a lot of truth about good and bad moments. She says, "Oh, if life were only made of moments, even now and then a bad one. But if life were only made of moments, then you'd never know you had one." This shows her realization that she can't keep living a fantasy in the woods. In this song, she learns a lot about life, living life as a whole, and not just random wonderful moments. She says, "Let the moment go, don't forget it for a moment, though, just remembering that you had an and when you're back to or makes the or seem more than it did before. Now I understand, and it's time to leave the woods." This song is so important because it doesn't only show the wonderful brilliance of the female mind, it also somewhat teaches the audience a lesson.
What was that? Was that me? Was that him? Did a prince really kiss me? And kiss me, and kiss me. And did I kiss him back? Was it wrong? Am I mad? Was that all? Does he miss me? Was he suddenly getting bored with me? Wake up, stop dreaming, stop prancing about the woods. It's not beseeming, what is it about the woods? Back to life, back to sense, back to child, back to husband. You can't live in the woods. There are vows, there are ties, there are needs, there are standards, there are shouldn'ts and shoulds. Why not both instead? There's the answer if you're clever. Have a child for warmth and a baker for bread and a prince for whatever. Never, never, it's these woods. Face the facts, find the boy, join the group, get the giant, just get out of these woods. Was that him? Yes, it was. Was that me? No, it wasn't, just a trick of the woods. Just a moment, one peculiar passing moment. Must it either always be less or more, either plain or grand? Is it always or is it never end? That's what woods are for these moments in the woods. Oh, with life we're only made of moments, even now and then a bad one. But if life were only moments, then you'd never known you had one. First a witch, then a child, then a prince, then a moment, who can live in the woods. And to get what you wish only just for a moment, these are dangerous woods. Let the moment go, don't forget it for a moment though. Just remember that you had an and when you're back to or. Makes the or seem more than it did before. Now I understand, and it's time to leave the woods.
Sunday in the Park with George, Children and Art. The plot revolves around George, a fictionalized version of Seurat, who immerses himself deeply in his paintings, his masterpieces, and his great-grandson, also named George, a conflicted and cynical contemporary artist. Another important detail is that George has a mistress/muse named Dot, who has George's first child and leaves him with their child. The child is a girl who is named Marie. Marie ends up having a grandson also named George, who is an artist. When George opens an art exhibit about his great-grandfather, George Seurat, he brings his grandmother, Marie. During this time, Marie speaks to her mother's image in the painting. A Sunday afternoon on the island of Le Grand Jeté, worrying about George. When he arrives to take her home, she tells him about her mother, attempting to pass on a message about the legacy we leave behind. She says, "Mama said honey mustn't be blue. It's not so much what you do what you like as long as that you like what you do. Mama said, darling, don't make such a drama, a little less thinking, a little more feeling." Quoting her mother in a time when Marie is starting to become more senile picturing her mother in a picture/painting when she knows she's not really there. Marie says to George toward the end of the song, "The child is so sweet and the girls are so rapturous. Isn't it lovely how artists can capture us?" This lyric is very telling to the show in itself, because I believe the show very much captures humans, especially in the song of an old woman turning back to her mother in a trapped painting.
You would have liked him, Mama, you would. Mama, he makes things, Mama, they're good. Just as you said from the start, children and art, children and art. He should be happy, Mama, he's blue. What do I do? You should have seen it. It was a sight. Mama, I mean it. The color and light. I don't understand what it was, but Mama, the things that he does, they twinkle and shimmer and buzz. You would have liked that. Him. Isn't she beautiful? There she is, there she is, there she is, there she is. Mama is everywhere. He must have loved her so much. This is our family, this is the lot. After I'm gone, this is all that you've got, honey. Isn't she beautiful, though? You would have liked her. Mama did things no one had done. Mama was funny. Mama was fun. Mama spent money when Mama had none. Mama said, honey, mustn't be blue. It's not so much do what you like as it is that you like what you do. Mama said, darling, don't make such a drama. A little less thinking, a little more feeling. I'm just quoting Mama. The child is so sweet, and the girls are so rapturous. Isn't it lovely how artists can capture us? You would have liked her. Honey, I'm wrong. You would have loved her. Mama enjoyed things. Mama was smart. See how she shivers. I mean, from the heart. I know, honey, you don't agree. This is our family tree. Just wait till you're there and you'll see. Listen to me. Mama was smart. Listen to Mama. Children and art. Children and art. Goodbye, Mama.
Follies, Could I Leave You? The story Follies concerns a reunion in a crumbling Broadway theater scheduled for demolition of the past performers of Wiseman's Follies, a musical revue that played in the theater between the world wars. It focuses on two couples, Buddy and Sally Durant Plummer, and Benjamin and Phyllis Roger Stone, who are attending the reunion. Both couples are deeply unhappy with their marriages. In the latter half of the show, Phyllis then Phyllis then tells Ben that their marriage can't continue the way it has been. Ben replies by saying that he wants a divorce. Angry and hurt, Phyllis considers whether to grant his request. This is where the song, "Could I Leave You," comes into the play. The song very much shows the strength in Phyllis's character. As the song starts, it seems as if the song is going to be a mournful song. Though as the lyrics start pouring in with the music, it becomes obvious that Phyllis would be very happy to leave him, as he needs more from her than she does of him. She says, "Could I leave you?" No, the point is, could you leave me? Halfway, she asks into the song, "Could I bury my rage with a boy half your age in the grass?" And then she says, "Bet your ass." This shows her confidence, as she knows that she is still desirable among many men. "But I've done that already, or didn't you know, love?" Phyllis knows that she could leave Ben and even wants to leave him, which is the irony of her singing this whole song asking, "Could I leave you?" because she already knows that she will.
Leave you, how could I leave you? How could I go it alone? Could I wave the years away with a quick goodbye? How do you wipe tears away when your eyes are dry? Sweetheart, lover, could I recover? Give up the joys I have known. Not to fetch your pills again every day at 5. Not to make those dinners for 10 elderly men from the UN. How could I survive? Could I leave you and your shelves of the world's best books and the evenings of martyred looks? Cryptic sighs, sullen glares from those injured eyes. Leave the quips with the sting, jokes with the sneer. Passionless lovemaking once a year. Leave the lies, ill-concealed, and the wounds never healed, and the game's not worth winning. And wait! I'm just beginning. What, leave you? Leave you? How could I leave you? What would I do on my own? Putting thoughts of you aside in the south of France, would I think of suicide? Oh, darling, shall we dance? Could I live through the pain on a terrace in Spain? Would it pass? It would pass. Could I bury my rage with a boy half your age in the grass? Ooh, bet your ass. But I've done that already. Or didn't you know, love? Tell me, how could I leave you when I left long ago? Love, could I leave you? No, the point is, could you leave me? Well, I guess you could leave me the house, leave me the flat, leave me the Brocs and Chagalls and all that. You could leave me the stocks for sentiment's sake, and 90% of the money you make, and the rugs and the cook. Darling, you keep the drugs. Angel, you keep your books. Honey, I'll take the grand sugar. You keep the spinach, and all of our friends just wait a goddamn minute. What, leave you? Leave you? How could I leave you? Sweetheart, I have to confess. Could I leave you? Yes. Will I leave you? Will I leave you? Yes.
Sweeney Todd, Worst Pies in London. Sweeney Todd is about a Victorian-era barber, Benjamin Barker, who changes his name to Sweeney Todd, who returns home to London after 15 years of exile to take revenge on the corrupt judge who ruined his life. When revenge eludes him, Sweeney swears vengeance on the entire human race, murdering as many people as he can, while his business associate, Mrs. Lovett, bakes the bodies into meat pies and sells them to the unsuspecting public. In the beginning of Act 1, the audience is introduced to the character of Mrs. Lovett, who becomes Todd's business partner. Mrs. Lovett owns a meat pie shop on Fleet Street. She owns the same property that Todd owned many years ago with his wife and daughter. Todd enters the meat pie shop on Fleet Street, where the owner, Mrs. Lovett, laments on the scarcity of meat and how awful her meat pies really are. This is where the song Worst Pies in London comes in, where Mrs. Lovett, the chatty person she is, goes on and on about the meat that is available for entrepreneurs like herself. She says, "And no wonder with the price of meat, what it is when you get it. I never thought I'd live to see the day. Men would think it was a treat finding poor animals who are dying in the street." She mentions that the only meat that seems to be selling in the markets are dead street animals, which is disgusting, and what she claims she would never put any of the ingredients into her pies. Though, tells Todd in a gossipy form of matter that Mrs. Mooney has a pie shop, and she does notice that her business but I noticed something weird. Lately all our neighbors' cats have disappeared. She, in these lines, are claiming that Mrs. Mooney uses cat meat in her meat pies. The whole song of Worst Pies in London is very chatty, friendly, and gossipy, which very much summarizes the character of Mrs. Lovett, as these traits are the ones that are the most defining of her character.
A customer! Wait, what's your rush, what's your hurry? You gave me such a fright, I thought you was a ghost. Hop a minute, can't you sit down, sit? All I meant is that I haven't seen a customer for weeks. Did you come here for a pie, sir? Do forgive me if me head's a little vague. What was that? What you think me had the plague? From the way the people keep avoiding, no you don't. Heaven knows I try, sir. But there's no one comes in even to inhale. Right, or was it? Would you like a drop of ale? Mind you, I can hardly blame them. These are probably the worst pies in London. I know nobody cares to take them. I should know, I make them, but good know, the worst pies in London. Even that's polite, the worst pies in London. If you care to take a bite. Is that just disgusting? You'll have to concede it. It's nothing but crusting. Here, drink this, you'll need it. The worst pies in London. And no wonder with the price of meat, what it is when you get it. Never thought I'd live to see the day. People think it was a treat finding poor animals who are dying in the street. Mrs. Mooney has a pie shop. Does a business, but I noticed something weird. Lately all the neighbours' cats have disappeared. Have to hand it to her, well of course, enterprise. Popping pussies into pies, wouldn't do in my shop. Just enough of it's a thought to make you sick. But I'm telling you, that pussycat is quick. No denying, times is hard, sir. Even harder than the worst pies in London. Only no one knows that just revolting and greasy and gritty. It looks like it's molten and tastes like. Well, pity a woman alone with limited win and the worst pies in London. Oh, sir, times is hard. Times is hard.
Company, Not Getting Married Today. Company is a concept musical composed of short vignettes, presented in no particular chronological order, linked by a celebration for Bobby, or Robert's, 35th birthday. Bobby is a well-liked single man whose friends are all married or engaged couples. Joanne and Larry, Peter and Susan, Harry and Sarah, David and Jenny, and Paul and Amy. The song Not Getting Married Today is sung by Robert's friend Amy, who is getting married to Paul, a man she has been dating for years. Amy is in an overwhelming state of panic and lists an impressive amount of reasons why she is not getting married, after telling the whole clergy to go away and leave her because she's not getting married and is quite in fact frantic and crazy. She says, "Listen everybody, I'm afraid you didn't hear, or do you want to see a crazy lady fall apart in front of you?" Not only does she tell the audience very base facts, she also confides them, telling them that it isn't only Paul who may be ruining his life, will both of us be losing our identities. and as well gives them what she believes is calm reasoning when she says, I telephoned my analyst about it, and he said to see him Monday, but by Monday I'll be floating in the Hudson with the other garbage. Though, the whole reason why this number seems so intense and hyperly frantic is because of the incredibly fast tempo played with Amy's lines. This number is said to be one of the most fast-paced musical numbers ever to be put on stage. Pardon me, is everybody there? Because if everybody's there, I want to thank you all for coming to the wedding. I'd appreciate you going even more. I mean, you must have lots of better things to do and not a word of it to Paul. Remember, Paul, you know the man I'm going to marry, but I'm not because I wouldn't ruin anyone as wonderful as he is. Thank you all for the gifts and the flowers. Thank you all. Now it's back to the showers. Don't tell Paul, but I'm not getting married today. Listen, everybody, look, I don't know what you're waiting for. What's a wedding? It's a prehistoric ritual where everybody promises fidelity forever, which made me the most horrifying word I ever heard, which is followed by a honeymoon when suddenly you realize you sat with another word, kill me, which you should. Thanks a bunch, but I'm not getting married. Go have lunch, because I'm not getting married. Clear the hall, because I'm not getting married. Thank you all, but I'm not getting married. And don't tell Paul, but I'm not getting married today. Go, can't you go? Why is nobody listening? Goodbye, go and cry at another person's wake. If you're quick for a kick, you could pick up a christening, but please, on my knees, there's a human life at stake. Listen, everybody, I'm afraid you didn't hear it. Do you want to see you crazily to fall apart in front of you? It is only Paul B. Rudy's life. No, we both of us losing our identities. I telephoned my analyst about it, and he said to see him Monday, but by Monday I'll be floating in the Hudson with the other garbage. I'm not well, so I'm not getting married. You've been swell, but I'm not getting married. Thank you all, but I'm not getting married. Clear the hall, but I'm not getting married. And don't tell Paul, but I'm not getting married today. Cut. Go, can't you go? Look, you know I adore you all, but why? Watching me die like Eliza on the ice, or perhaps I'll collapse in the apps right before you will. So take back the cake, burn the shoes, and boil the rice. Look, I didn't want to have to tell you, but I may become a dumb hepatitis, and I think I'm gonna faint. So you want to see me faint? I'll do it happily, but wouldn't it be funnier to go watch your funeral? So thank you for the 27 dinner places, 37 butter nights, 47 paperweights, and 57 candle holders. I am not getting married. Still, I'm not getting married, but I'm not getting married. Still, I'm not getting married. Let us pray that we're not getting married today. A Little Night Music, Send in the Clowns. The musical A Little Night Music involves the romantic lives of several couples. That is the plot, simply on the dotted line. And particularly in this explanation, we will be focusing on the man, Frederick Eggerman, who's married to Anne, and Desiree Armfeldt, a single woman who most likely was widowed by her previous husband. Desiree and Frederick have a romantic past together and are extremely fond of each other, though unfortunately Frederick has recently been married to Anne. The song Send in the Clowns takes place in the second act of the musical, when Desiree invites all the main characters to her mother's summer home. After all the guests have eaten dinner, Desiree meets Frederick to ask if he wants to be rescued from his life. Frederick answers honestly that he loves Desiree, but only as a dream. Hurt and bitter, Desiree can only reflect on the nature of her life, which is where Send in the Clowns comes in. She starts a verse saying to Frederick, "Don't you love farce? My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. I'm sorry, my dear." What Desiree wants is Frederick, as honestly as she does, although apparently he does not reciprocate her feelings. She thinks that this is quite funny, as Desiree feels nothing has worked out for her. Desiree then brings up the clowns, which I suppose again is because she believes her whole situation in this is ridiculous and funny. But where are the clowns, she says. Quick, send in the clowns. She concludes that herself and Frederick are the clowns. This is why she says, don't bother, they're here.
Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in mid-air. Where are the clouds? Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, one who can't move. But where are the clouds? Quick, send in the clowns. Just when I start opening doors, entrance again with my usual flair, sure of my light. No one is there. Don't you love farce? My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear. But where are the clouds? Quick, send in the clouds. Don't bother, they're here. Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer, losing my timing this late in my career? And where are the clouds? Quick, send in the clouds. Well, maybe next year.
Merrily we roll along, not a day goes by. The story revolves around Franklin Shepard, who having once been a talented composer of the Broadway musicals, has now abandoned his friends and his songwriting career to become a producer of Hollywood movies. The musical begins at the height of his Hollywood fame and moves backwards in time, showing snapshots of the most important moments in Frank's life that shaped the man he is today. In that lies many regrets in his life, including the falling out of his first marriage with a woman named Beth, who also had a child with Frank. Frank confronts Beth in the last half of the first act of the musical, who confesses that she still loves him, but that Beth can't live with him knowing that he has been unfaithful to her with another woman. The song Beth sings at the conclusion of Act 1 is Not a Day Goes By, which is her power song in the musical, as it shows the struggle with wanting to love Frank and be with him, though she needs to leave him. Beth knows that he will be a part of her life which she believes she has no part of. She says, and no, not a day goes by, not a blessed day, but you're still somehow part of my life and you won't go away. So there's hell to pay. Until I die, I'll die day after day after day. I believe that the reason this song is so powerful is because it shows the man crumbling during the divorce, not the woman. Beth is strong in this song, and Frank is weak, because Beth knows that she will survive after this marriage with her son.
Not a day goes by, not a single day, but you're still somehow part of my life, and it looks like you'll stay as the days go by. I keep thinking, where does it end? When's the day I'll have started forgetting? But I just go on thinking and sweating and cursing and crying and turning and reaching and waking and dying. And no, not a day goes by, not a blessed day, but you're still somehow part of my life, and you won't go away, so there's hell to pay, and until I'll die day after day after day after day after day after day after day till the